2022 Trial 3 Midterm Internal Examination. Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education. Section A, 25 marks. Answer all the questions. 1. Identify 2 ways through which archaeologists obtain information on the history of Kenya. 2 marks. 2. Name 1 subgroup of Eastern Kushites. 1 mark. 3. Identify the title given to Council of Elders among the Agakuyu. 1 mark. 4. Give 2 missionary societies that operated in Kenya. 2 marks. 5. Give 1 way in which African communities in Kenya reacted to British invasion. 1 mark. 6. Identify the main reason why Kapande system was introduced in Kenya during the colonial period. 1 mark. 7. List 2 challenges faced by independent schools in Kenya. 2 marks. 8. Give 2 reasons why oathing was administered to Mau Mau fighters. 2 marks. 9. Identify 1 commission on education constituted during the colonial period. 1 mark. 10. Identify 2 ways in which the colonial government encouraged settler farming. 2 marks. 11. Name 1 founder member of Kenya African Democratic Union. 1 mark. 12. Give the main reason why the Second Lancaster House Conference was convened. 1 mark. 13. List 2 ways in which Kenyan citizens exercise direct democracy. 2 marks. 14. Outline 2 functions of the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. 2 marks. 15. Give 1 way in which the government has promoted the culture of the people of Kenya. CNCE independence. 1 mark. 16. State 1 challenge facing Harambee culture in Kenya. 1 marks. 17. Give 2 ways in which one can become a member of County Assembly of Kenya. 2 marks. Section B, 45 marks. Answer any 3 questions. 18a. State 5 reasons which influenced migration of the Kushites into Kenya during the pre-colonial period. 5 marks. 18b. Describe the social organization of the Mijikenda during the pre-colonial period. 10 marks. 19a. Give 5 reasons that enabled the Akamba to successfully participate in the long-distance trade. 5 marks. 19b. Explain 5 factors that influenced the growth of Nairobi as an urban center. 10 marks. 20a. State 5 roles of Africans in provision of health services during colonial rule in Kenya. 5 marks. 20b. Explain 5 roles of women in the Mau Mau uprising during the struggle for independence in Kenya. 10 marks. 21a. State 5 reasons for the Maasai collaboration. 5 marks. 21b. Explain 5 challenges facing culture and sports in Kenya since independence. 10 marks. Section C, 30 marks. Answer any 2 questions. 22a. Give 3 factors that promote national unity. 3 marks. 22b. Explain 6 importance of national integration. 12 marks. 23a. Identify 3 special groups given special rights in the Kenya Constitution 2010. 3 marks. 23b. Explain 6 functions of the Kenya National Human Rights and Equality Commission. KNHREC. 12 marks. 24a. State 3 sources of revenue for the national government. 3 marks. 24b. Explain 6 ways in which the Constitution regulates public finance and expenditure. 12 marks. Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education. History and Government. Paper 1. Section A. 1. Identify 2 ways through which archaeologists obtain information on the history of Kenya. 2 marks. I. Locating prehistoric sites. E. Excavating, digging the site. E. Dating the fossils and artifacts. 2. Name 1 subgroup of Eastern Kushites. 1 mark. I. Barana. E. Somali. E. Oromo. IV. Gabra. V. Rendell. Vi. Burgee. 3. Identify the title given to Council of Elders among the Agakuyu. 1 mark. I. Kayama. 4. Give 2 missionary societies that operated in Kenya. 2 marks. I. Catholic missionary societies. E. Church Missionary Society. E. Church of Scotland Mission. IV. African Inland Mission. V. The Presbyterian Church of Scotland Mission. Vi. United Methodist Church Mission. 5. Give one way in which African communities in Kenya reacted to British invasion. 1 MK. I. Resistance. E. Collaboration. E. Mixed reaction. 6. Identify the main reason why Kapande system was introduced in Kenya during the colonial period. 1 mark. I. To ensure Africans provide free labor and don't desert their employers, settlers, servants. 7. Give 2 challenges faced by independent schools in Kenya. 2 marks. I. Harassment of members by missionaries and colonial government authorities. E. Shortage of manpower to manage their activities. E. Shortage of funds to implement their programs. IV. Wrangling between leaders. V. Competition from missionary churches and schools. Vi. Closure of institutions by colonial government during state of emergency. 8. Give 2 reasons why orating was administered to Mau Mau fighters. 2 marks. I. To ensure members remain loyal, honest to the movement. E. To inspire courage among fighters. E. To unite the members. IV. To ensure fighters keep the secrets of the movement. 9. Identify 1 commission on education constituted during the colonial period. 1 mark. I. Phelps-Stokes Commission, 1914. E. Fraser Commission, 1908. 10. Identify 2 ways in which the colonial government encouraged settler farming. 2 marks. I. The colonial government provided land to the settlers. E. The settlers bought land from the colonial government. E. The colonial government passed legislations on favorable to the settlers. 11. Name 1 founder member of Kenya African Democratic Union. 1 mark. I. Daniel Arap Moi. E. Masinde Mulyerio. E. Eustace Oltipes. IV. Ronald Ingala. 12. Give the main reason why the Second Lancaster House Conference was convened in 1962. 1 mark. I. To come up with a constitution for independent Kenya. 13. List 2 ways in which Kenyan citizens exercise direct democracy. 2 marks. I. Referendum. E. Initiative. E. Plebiscite. IV. Recall. 14. Outline 2 functions of the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. 2 marks. I. Acts as Speaker when the Speaker is absent, performs the duties of the Speaker when absent. E. Chairperson of the Committee of the Whole House. E. Chairs the Liaison Committee. IV. Chairs the members of the Chairperson's panel. 15. Give 1 way in which the government has promoted the culture of the people of Kenya. Since independence. 1 mark. I. By encouraging people to take part in traditional dances, music festivals. E. Establishing and preserving cultural centers. E. Licensing vernacular radio stations. IV. Encouraging production and marketing of traditional handwork crafts. V. Establishing the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Gender to enhance culture. 16. State 1 challenge facing Harambee spirit in Kenya. 1 marks. I. It has been abused by the political elites to buy compromise voters. E. There are complaints of forced contributions against the Harambee spirit of volition. E. The NARC government barred public servants from engaging in Harambee. 2003. IV. Encourages class struggle as it has been 1 way of staging competition between the haves and the have-nots. 17. Give 2 ways in which one can become a member of County Assembly of Kenya. 2 marks. I. Being elected to represent a ward. E. Being nominated. I. Through election as Speaker, an ex officio member. 18a. State 5 reasons which influenced migration of the Kushites into Kenya during the pre-colonial period. 5 marks. I. To escape from internal conflict, clan, family. E. There was population pressure in their original homeland. E. To flee outbreak of diseases that affected both animals and people. IV. They were in search for better grazing lands. V. They were escaping famine and drought. Vi. They fled due to constant attacks from their neighbors, e.g. Somali. V. They migrated to satisfy their spirit of adventure. Any 5, 1 equals 5 marks. 18b. Describe the social organization of the Mijikenda during the pre-colonial period, 10 mks. Family was the smallest social unit. They initiate both boys and girls through circumcision. Circumcised boys joined age sets. They believed in God called Mulungu. They prayed to God directly and offered sacrifices to him in shrines. They believed in ancestral spirits who they appeased through sacrifices and pouring libation. There were special people among the Mijikenda, e.g. diviners, prophets, prophesies and medicinemen who performed different social functions. Marriage was polygamous and exogamous. They had social ceremonies which were marked through songs and dance. There was division of labor according to gender and age. They offered informal education. Any 5 well explained, 2 equals 10 marks. 19a. Give 5 reasons that enabled the Akamba to successfully participate in the long distance trade, 10 marks. They were centrally positioned between the coast and the interior. Their land was infertile, so they opted for trade. They had strong able leaders who organized trade caravans, e.g. Chief Kivoy. Trade goods were readily available. They had participated in local trade, hence a basis of experience. 1 equals 5 marks. 19b. Explain 5 factors that influenced the growth of Nairobi as an urban center. 10 marks. Central location between Lake Victoria and the coast. Conducive climate, cool temperatures. Trading activities between the Masai and the Agakuyu. Had clean and cool waters from Nairobi. The transfer of colonial headquarters from Mombasa. The level ground enhanced construction of tall buildings. Any 5 well explained, 2 equals 10 marks. 20a. State 5 roles of Africans in provision of health services during colonial rule in Kenya. 5 marks. They were trained as practitioners, e.g. nurses and laboratory assistants. Treated illness using herbal medicine. The local native councils set aside money for medical care. Promoted hygiene through pest control. Provided civic education about health and hygiene which helped control some diseases. Africans built health facilities, e.g. dispensaries. 5x1 equals 5 mks. 20b. Explain 5 roles of women in the Mau Mau uprising during the struggle for independence in Kenya, 5 marks. Women participated in the oath-taking ceremonies. They mobilized the men and women to join the movement. Women composed songs to mobilize support and motivate the fighters as well as ridicule collaborators. They acted as spies for Mau Mau fighters. They supplied fighters with food, medicine, guns, ammunition and clothing. They fought as soldiers, e.g. Field Marshal Mathoni. They coordinated and organized rural networks to provide supplies to the Mau Mau fighters. They kept secret all information relating to the uprising from colonial agents despite their mistreatment. More than 8,000 women were detained and others put in detention camps to prevent them from helping the fighters. Any 5 well explained x2 equals 10 mks. 21a. State 5 reasons for the Maasai collaboration, 5 marks. Nandi power had weakened them. Civil wars between Kwavi and Perko. Natural calamities, e.g. smallpox and drought. Famine. Kedong massacre which killed many. British efficiency on report of the massacre which made Lenana happy. 1 equals 5 marks. 21b. Explain 5 challenges facing culture and sports in Kenya since independence. 10 marks. Inadequate facilities, lack of recreational and sports facilities, stadia, studios especially in rural areas. Poor remuneration. Those people involved in music, sports, drama are poorly paid. Exploitation on royalty payments. Those involved in music industry, arts and drama are exploited through payments imposed on them. Inadequate funds. Lack of adequate funds to enhance cultural festivities. Piracy. There is piracy of local artist work, thus denying them income. Misappropriation of funds, corruption. Money meant for culture have been misappropriated by those in the high positions. VII, nepotism when selecting teams players. VII, lack of well-established structures for nurturing talents. Any 5 well explained, 2 equals 10 marks. Section C. 22. A. Give 3 factors that promote national unity, 3 MKS. I. Unitary Constitution. E. One government. E. The institution of the presidency. IV. Our education system. V. Economic growth that include equitable or fair distribution of resources. V. The use of English and Kiswahili. 3. 1 equals 3 marks. 22b. Explain 6 importance of national integration, 12 marks. I. It promotes rapid social and economic development in a country, it enables people to develop the country. E. It promotes peaceful coexistence of different ethnic groups and races in a country. E. It helps in eliminating suspicion and enhances security. IV. It enables a country to develop a national direction. V. It enables people to tackle problems together. Vi. It enhances political stability in the country. VII. It promotes collective responsibility among citizens in the country. VIII. It makes Kenyans to speak with one voice in international forums like UNO. X. It attracts foreign investments. X. A united country earns itself recognition and can be invited to take part in international activities like peacekeeping missions. Any 6 well explained, 2 equals 12 marks. 23a. Identify 3 special groups given special rights in the Kenya Constitution 2010. Marks. I. Persons with disabilities. E. The youth. E. Minorities and marginalized. IV. Older members of the society. V. Arrested persons. Vi. Persons detained, held in custody or imprisoned. 3. 1 equals 3 marks. 23b. Explain 6 functions of the Kenya National Human Rights and Equality Commission. KNHREC, 12 marks. I. To promote respect for human rights and develop a culture of human rights in the Republic. E. To promote gender equality and equity generally and to coordinate and facilitate gender mainstreaming in national development. E. To promote the protection and observance of human rights in public and private institutions. IV. To monitor, investigate and report on observance of human rights in all spheres of life. V. To receive and investigate complaints about alleged abuse of human rights. Vi. To investigate or research a matter in respect of human rights. V. To ensure compliance with obligations under treaties and conventions relating to human rights. Vi. To investigate any conduct in public administration suspected to be improper. VII. To investigate complaints of abuse of power, unfair treatment or unlawful, oppressive, unfair or unresponsive official conduct. VII. To give report on the results of investigations in conduct of state affairs including abuse of power. Any 6 well explained, 2 equals 12 marks. 24. At state 3 sources of revenue for the national government, 3 marks. I. Income tax pay. E. Corporate tax. This is levied on incomes or profits made by companies. E. Capital gain. This is levied on interests on investments and earnings, e.g. tax levied on dividends. IV. Customs duty imposed on goods imported into the country like vehicles and machinery. V. Excise duty imposed on goods produced and sold within Kenya including farm produce like pyrethrum, tea and coffee. Vi. Export duty imposed on goods produced and exported from Kenya like coffee, tea and horticultural products. VII. Value-added tax VAT, levied on specific goods like petroleum products and sugar. VII. Traffic revenue tax levied on various categories of traffic services such as road maintenance. X. Investment revenue from parastatals and other government profit-making institutions. X. Trading licenses like on hotel and restaurant. She. Loan interest receipts. She. Land rates. She. House rates especially rent from government buildings. Civ fees. These include levies on fuel, wood, carbon dioxide gas and mining fees. X. Fee. Court fines imposed on persons found guilty in a court of law. XVI tourism fees. This can be in the form of entrance fees to national parks, game reserves and other national tourist attractions. 3.1 equals 3 marks. 24b. Explain 6 ways in which the Constitution regulates public finance and expenditure. 12 marks. The Parliament has to approve expenditure of any state department. The Cabinet Secretary for Finance, with the approval of Parliament, may stop transfer of funds to a state organ or any other public body if it fails to adhere to the laid-down procedures. The Controller of Budget oversees the implementation of the national budget by authorizing withdrawals from public funds such as Consolidated Fund. IV. There are accounting offices answerable to the National Assembly for the financial management of various public bodies. V. The auditing of accounts of all government and other public bodies is conducted to ensure that they adhere to the laid-down procedures. V. The Auditor General is responsible for the audit of all accounts of all government and state organs at the end of each financial year. VII. The Public Procurement and Disposal Act set procedures for acquiring and disposing of obsolete and extra assets and equipment to ensure fairness and transparency. VIII. Sanctions have been imposed against contractors who fail to fulfill their obligations. X. Sanctions have been imposed on people who fail to pay their taxes, e.g. use of X-ray scanners to verify cargo on arrival at the port. X. Government contracts are publicly advertised for the awarding of tenders and awards, open tendering system. She. Establishment of Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. She. Government offices who spend money while on official duties are supposed to prove their expenditure. Any 6 well explained. X2 equals 12 marks.